He is unfit to be president, and there is no bigger issue in this race, Megyn, than Donald Trump, and those numbers prove it.
I have delivered results. That's what we need for this country. And you have other candidates up here like Nikki Haley. She caves anytime the left comes after her.
First of all, he's mad because those Wall Street donors used to support him, and now they support me.
Now that the final Republican presidential debate of the year is on the books, there's 1 month until the first primary in Iowa. While former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley has been taking the brunt of the attack, she's also been gaining interest from donors and potentially voters. Is it enough, however, to take on former U.S. President Donald Trump, who continues to be the frontrunner in public opinion polling, while also remaining absent from the debates? And what should we be watching for as that race does continue to heat up? We're joined now by journalist and media commentator Brian Stelter. Brian, good to have you here. Thanks for making the time.
Thank you.
The last debate, as we said in the introduction, has come and gone. Did the debates on the whole, in your view, make a difference at all?
The debates did narrow the field considerably. That's what these debates will be remembered for, if anything at all. Because yes, these debates, because Donald Trump was on the stage, these debates did feel like a junior varsity or a vice presidential debate. It did feel like, some sort of, background competition compared to the main event, which is involving Donald Trump. But these debates started with 8 or 9 or 10 people, a lot of candidates vying to be on the stage. And the final debate ended with just 4 people. So the Republican Party was able to help narrow the field. And now, heading into January, heading into the actual voting period, there's going to be pressure to consolidate even further down to just 1 or 2 candidates that might have a chance against Trump.
Is your anticipation that consolidation will happen? I've been reading as much as I can about, for instance, whether Nikki Haley is trying to make it happen, whether she's reached out to people. It looks like not a lot of that has happened at this point, but we do have another month to go.
That's right. And there will be some serious conversations around the Christmas holiday period when the candidates are off the trail and they're back home and they're with their families. Maybe we'll see some movement around the new year. But it is clear that Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis both believe that they are in a second place opportunity right now, that they could both come into Iowa and New Hampshire with some serious opportunity. And now all of this, of course, comes with an asterisk because Donald Trump is 50 to 60 points ahead. And I think we should really view the entire GOP primary, through this 60-40 split. Trump has about 6 in 10 GOP primary voters. There are about 4 in 10 up for grabs. And within that 40%, there's an argument about Nikki Haley versus Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie, et cetera. But right now, that 60% is not moving. And so the fight's really only among the remaining 40.
When you distill it down to the primary level, and particularly the state level, what is the potential for that national polling to change enough to make a difference? Like, I know he's got a 50-point lead nationally. Are there any instances, because of either the way the primaries work or the state specifically, where some miracle happens and Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis is able to be a real contender or a real competitor and not just one for second place?
I think there's a couple. One is the idea of a momentum story, a momentum candidacy. That's what Ron DeSantis wanted early on, but couldn't capture it. That's what Nikki Haley wants to capture now, a sense of momentum, partly generated by the media, but also through polling and election results, that creates a sense that someone is a winner. That's been the challenge for a lot of these candidates. They have the stench of being a loser. They have the stench of being second or third or fourth place behind Donald Trump, and Trump can then brand them as losers. So to the extent that any of these candidates can surprise people with a surprise amount of support and then have a momentum story to tell, that's important. Number 2, Trump's legal woes, of course, are continuing to worsen, and he is facing a very serious federal trial next March. So he may well have the primary basically finished by next March, but Governor Chris Christie, the former governor of New Jersey, has said he's staying in the race until the summer conventions because no one knows if Trump's going to be behind bars by the summer. So that's the obvious X factor here, no one knowing what's going to happen with Trump and whether, I guess here's the thing, right? Whether the trials against Trump are going to sway his voters or not. Right. I suppose that would be the ultimate X factor.
It's funny, I was just about to ask you about that X factor because I remember speaking to you a couple months ago and it was having a different effect. It wasn't having a bad effect on Trump. In fact, when all these charges were being laid, you saw almost a swelling of support among the GOP members for him. I'm not sure if that has sustained or whether you think that it will sustain itself through actual criminal proceedings and the potential for convictions?
Among Trump's fan base, who believes they are victims just like they believe Trump is a victim, yes, that support sustains. But I think we should recognize that the Trump fan base is not half of the United States. It's not even really a third of the United States. It might be a quarter. If we wanted to be generous, we would say 25% of American adults are in that true MAGA fan club, even in a cult-like phenomenon. That's why it's important to recognize there is this battle, that other 40% within the GOP. And then, of course, beyond the GOP, all these people who are just watching the primary process, Democratic voters, independent voters, non-voters, they are watching in some cases and wondering what kind of candidate's going to emerge out of this process. Nikki Haley, for example, we've never seen a female GOP nominee in the United States. That would be a huge moment to have a historic figure emerge. And you could tell the other candidates on that stage at the debate earlier this week, they all viewed Haley as the threat. They were all trying to tear her down. She even said at one point, "Thanks for all the attention, fellas." So you can feel a sort of moment where if anyone has a chance against Trump in this moment, at this moment in time, it's Nikki Haley.
Yeah, what a year it's going to be. Brian, thank you so much. Appreciate your analysis as always. Thanks.